last session we saw that how we can send the email to the IT department as the string. Earlier it was the earlier it was move into the loop, means iterate in a loop, because we have selected the multiple IT department. Now in this session what we are going to do, after approving or rejecting, we need to send the email notification. What action we are going to do here, we are going to send here email to requester, then email to selected DEPT head. Okay, so if there are three DEPT head, three different DEPT head will get a different three emails. And after that update atom in IT assessment list. Okay, so these three operations we need to perform. Means what we are doing, we are going to send the now request go here, and after that once the request will go here, if SAP, then in SAP IT head will get email notification, the request came to you for the IT assessment. Then content management IT head also get the request, and branding will also get the request. Okay, so for time being what I did for approval, so here Raju Patil is our Pune site manager, and same way for SAP IT department I have used the Raju Patil only, because we have only one inbox for testing. That's why I use the Raju Patil only for the both operations. Okay, so here that's why I use the Raju Patil. You can use that if you have multiple inbox available. In this case requester is one. Okay, first person. After that request goes to the manager, site manager, and after that request goes to the IT department. This request is not an approval request. Means once the request goes to this IT manager, we just provide the link of our form, and this IT head will click on that link and they submit their efforts and tentative date. Okay, so up to this you understand what we need to do. So again I will go ahead and let's say now this is approve. Okay, waiting for approval. Now we need to capture the response. What response will come from this? Okay, so what is the response? So I need to go into the previous history and check that what outcome from the earlier history. Means one, if this request is approved or what happened. Okay, once the request is approved, then what is the outcome from that flow? For that purpose I will check my previous test history and I will check the output, see the output from here. So your response parameter is there, approved. Okay, or here you can see the parameter outcome approved. Means which parameter I need to use? Outcome, and based on that approve or reject will work. Okay, so again I will go back and say edit here, and I start working. I know that outcome is the parameter on which I will decide that what action we need to perform, whether the request is approved or rejected. So just a minute, and we'll go here and say next action. Now here condition will appear, because we need to test approve or reject. So I am going to here and I'll say put here condition. It's taking a time. Condition control, and here you can say condition. So condition means yes or no. So what condition? This outcome we need to capture. Here start and wait for approval, but there are multiple start and wait for approval. I rename this. I say wait, or I can say approval from site manager. Okay, so approval from site manager. So here and here we put the outcome from approval from a site manager request. What is the outcome is there? So I select the outcome is equal to approve. Okay, is equal to approve means it will approve the request, and based on that, just a minute. Okay, so it will say approve once the request is approved, and here no means if not approved means it will be rejected. So what I do, we need to compose here email for rejection email and send the requester email notification. So I'll close this quickly, email. So before that, what I do, whether we have sent any email, earlier email. So one more email, we need to compose one more email here also. So email, what I do, I take this email, send it to requester. Requester, who is the requester? The person who create that item. So I just click here, and who created that item, where we'll get when item is created, and here created by email, and here I put the subject line. We need to provide the request ID. So where request ID generated on update, here request ID we have created, so I take that request ID, and here I will here's a request. So he understand his request rejected by site manager. Okay. Okay, so from that he know that his request manager hi. So you know the hi, you can directly pass his name also from created by. So I just say created by here, and when item is created by display name. So here your request for uh, IT work has been rejected by site manager. Okay, so site manager, so you can provide the work ID here, sorry, work ID here, and which is selected from here, work ID. So here work ID is here, and work title, maybe he raising the multiple requests daily, that's why we provide the work title. Also he understands same time work title I'm creating, taking from work title here from, and also I will give the reason. So maybe the requester will pass the comment, so from where, so this approve action, there is the reason, means what are the fields we can extract. I remove this comment, maybe the comment will be there, response comment, you can see response comment is there. So our email is ready, and we can rename this email. So to whom, send email to requester on reject by site manager. So each place you need to give the proper description to the action so that you can understand. So here I say responses, and it put me the in a loop. Okay, I don't know why it's put me in the loop, because there's only one response. Okay, and here from this response we capture and we put it here. Okay, now this is about the email to the send email to requester by site manager. Now next thing is, again same request, if the request is approved, I copy this email. So how we can copy the action, you know that, not copy. Okay, and I go here and I put this action is here and in my clipboard and here. So I just paste my action, so it saves some time again writing the entire action. So I go here, first thing rename it here. So send email to the requester on approve or approved by site manager. So here we need to change, so approve. So he get the request that yes, his request is approved by site manager, and send to department head for IT. Assessment means they will assess, means they judge how much time and how much it will require. Okay, assessment. So this kind of message you have given. So created means, if I will go see here, means request goes here for IT assessment. Here we have created a separate list, or here also we need to say. Okay, so here these two email we are sending, again I'll rename here approved by site manager. So click, always keep in mind that, and also comment here. Here comment is correct, outcome comment, response comment, approval response. Let me see the what is the parameter of a comment section. Okay, so here it put it in a for loop, why I don't know. but what I do, I will check the earlier action. So failed invalid template where send email approved by site manager 1 at a column action. So comment action having some issue here. This action having some issue. I just go here. Response summary no, details no. Here approver, response from approver. Okay, response from approver, response is comment. Okay, just I also put here. Now it will fix this issue. Save this. Okay, issue has been resolved because it response which is in a array or it which is in a loop. Okay, that's why I put like this. Okay, so testing is very important. Again, I save this. Okay, and I'll go here and here manual. Okay, and I say as of now we are not sending any to department head, but we still test our application. I go here and raise the new request. So work title test request for approval. Okay, give some name here. I'll not put these details. Work site, our site is Pune, and here IT department. Let me check IT department. Here is for SAP. Raju Patil is there, so I select the SAP first, then branding and content. Okay, 3 requests I have selected, so I save this and I go here, check that our request email will get trigger and flow will get trigger. I'll go here. So here requester is there. Requester, who is the requester? Caesar admin is the requester here. I'll open the Caesar admin inbox here. I put my inbox at the second tab, and here I'll open it. Okay, and you can see once the this beep is there, now this email goes to the Raju Patil. So I'll go up to the Raju Patil. See here. So what it's saying, we have not updated this. Okay, no problem. So test request for approval Pune pending for site manager approval. So site manager will say reject because on reject I click on reject and I'll say what reject, rejected this work already done. Okay, so I just give some reason and submit. So the requester, who is our requester, I have rejected. This is our requester. So our Caesar admin is a requester. So I go here. Who is that? Which is this email? Okay, so I'm waiting for email. Okay, so here you can see the email is there. Mahi 1 rejected by site manager. Your request for IT work has been rejected by site manager. Mahi 1 test request for I reject this work already done. Rejected this work on this. I have got the notification my request has been rejected. The important thing we have getting the one is here, IT. IDs remain as it is the old ID. So I just check that why ID is appearing 1 here. For that purpose you need to check our flow executed successfully, but ID is not appearing correctly there. So what is the reason? In this email also ID is appearing 1. So I go here and check that why ID is appearing 1. So here my 1 is there. Let me check from where I'm taking this ID. Okay, so if we are taking the ID from just a minute, update action, then it will not create any issue because we update the ID here. Let me check what is the outcome of a update action. I click here. So we go here and update action. See here also Mahi 1, it showing means issuing this action only. So let me check. ID is 1 is correct, but means I have selected something wrong ID here. Maybe I have selected the ID from this list. Which list? Mahindra site, because Pune ID is 1 here. So you need to quickly trick that thing. So here if I move my cursor, you can see get site manager information outcome. You see here description here. So here output get site manager. That's why that ID coming from the, and here you can see the ID is, this ID is from this ID. Once request is created, that ID. So I need to get here ID. get, let's say ID here. So you give me the multiple IDs here when item is created. Now it's worked fine for me when item is created. Okay, so I have selected the correct ID. Now one thing I need to then it will get the update. Okay, now next we go ahead and update the next thing. What next thing we need to do? We have captured the response and pass the comment. Also approval will also work. Now reject means this flow will stop here, his request rejected. So here once the approve, what we are going to do, once the request is approved, request goes to the department head. So we have selected the multiple department head. So what I do, we need to send the email to the department head with a link to the assessment. So that item needs to be do the assessment. So before that, what we need to do, we need to create some items in a assessment list. So where is our assessment list? This is our assessment list. I opened it in the separate tab. So here in this assessment list, what parameters are required? Work ID is required, work title, and to assess this request, so IT department head team required some details. So based on the work ID and work title, and they also required the work details also. So I will add one more column. Work details is also important for them, and efforts, days, and tentative date means how many days. This parameter will provided by them. Okay, so I just go here and put one multi-line column here. Keep in mind that while taking the multiple line column, always check the use enhance rich text. No, so it's good. So I'll say the work details. Okay, so I have created work details and I'll save it. Okay, so it will be added in a work details. I'll go here and start working here. Now what we need to do, we need to create new item in which list? Work detail list. Because in work detail list, sorry, in IT assessment list, because in IT assessment list IT team will work on that. So what I do, I will go here. So how many items will be created? The number of items you have selected in your which column? This column, IT department. 3 means 3 entries will be created in a IT assessment, because our 3 department having 3 different people for a IT assessment, each department having the separate team person. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and start working on that. So I'll go here and say send email to the requester approver, and see, I'm not going to add in that. Okay, I'll create separate here action. So what it will do, it will send, so sorry, it will create new item. So create new item here, Sharepoint, create item, and I will put this my site URL here. If it will appear here, you can select here. Okay, like this. And here my list name is IT assessment list. And after that, okay, so now we are creating work ID. So you know work ID. So work ID. So I select update action, work title. So work title, you can take it from created by action also. Okay, no problem. Work title. Effort in PDs and tentative date filled by the IT department. So department name, which will be pop up from the, because there you may need to filter the content. So here Ippt. So here I use this IT department value here. Okay, so because IT department is a lookup, and when you say IT Ippt, you can see it come up with the 4 values. Value, then atom. This atom means it will contain O data parameter and all. Okay, this IT department is also the you can, what you do, you put all these details in one email and check that what lookup value. This lookup is retrieving 4 items. Okay, so in email you will get, I have selected only one, IT department. Okay, so whenever I say IT department here, you can see it apply the loop here. Okay, why loop? Because IT department there are multiple loop, and create multiple items, because we have selected 3, that's why 3 times it will loop. Whatever the number of items you will select department, it will loop at that many times, and it send the request to respective department for the assessment. Okay, so work title, again I'll put my work title here. So here work detail. So I take this work details. Okay, so this many details we provide for the assessment, means request will go for assessment. Again the next thing is, again you need to rename here. So what is this? So this is the uh, approve comment loop. Approve comment loop. Okay, here for why this is in loop, because you know we have selected the IT department. Let's skip here. So you can say ITDB loop, and here what is, and here you can say create IT assessment list item. Okay, so it will create the list item here. So now up to this, always keep the habit. Still one thing we miss, we will add the logs at every stage for a tracking and debugging. We'll do that in afterwards. So it will create the item that many times, whatever the IT departments you are selected. Okay, so this is over. Okay, after that, within a loop, we are in a within loop. Again, you please keep in mind that this is the IT department and we are within a loop. Again, one more thing we need to do here, whatever the IT department you have selected, we need to send the respective IT department person, SAP or communication, the email notification. Okay, so that thing is also we need to implement. Before that, what we do, we test that. Means if I have selected the three IT departments, means 3 requests will be created here in IT assessment or not. So just raise the request. Okay, okay, just delete my old content. Okay, so I'll go and put few more entries here. So test ITSS. Okay, work detail. Sorry. So again, work site our as usual Pune, and I just select one. Sorry, first I select SAP, then content management, and then this. Okay, so once I will save this. Okay, just to go here, say test flow. I will go here. Okay, waiting for the approval email. Okay, Raju Patil is here waiting for the approval email. Now see request file. Just to see just 1 p.m. No, it's the old request because time is 1:11. Again we go back, check in a flow. It's running. Wait for a moment. So here request goes for approvals. You can see the approvals. I have explained this, what is the approval. Okay, so here is the 1212 request is here in my inbox. You can see the lookup value how it's looking. I need to take a value here. Just a few moment. Okay, so work ID is not appearing here. Yes, still work ID is showing 1. Okay, you need to look into that. Okay, so here IT department is, sorry, I have selected the old request, that's why. Now, oh sorry, here, sorry, I selected old email. So here work ID is appearing correct now. Now here, but here work ID is not appearing. Correct that. Okay, so test, then this, and it's working. Okay, once I will approve, say approve. Okay, needs to implement on priority. Okay, this request is submitted. I'll go back here. Now it's flow move ahead. See, you can see flow will complete and it will go ahead to this. Just hold on for see, email notification goes and my flow is triggered. Now again I got the email notification here, approved by the site manager. All the details are correct. Needs to implement on priority. So after that, next important thing, see 3 times it executed and 3 times it create the items in our list. You can see here IT assessment, SAP, content management and communication. These details needs to be filled by the IT manager and these are the work details. Okay, so you will say why this is appearing same, because we are sending this request to 3 different people for approval. Here you can see this is the request goes to the 3 different people for approval. This department is different, this is different and this is different. So in our case, as I told you that earlier, our department head is remain Raju Patil, because for testing we keep the same email. So again, up to this you understand. Now the next thing is that we need to send email notification to the items are getting created. Our next role is to create the send the email notify to respective department IT head that yes, yeah, request come to you, please provide the tentative date and your efforts. Okay, so you need to send the email, right? So again, email action here, email here, send an email here in email now. Now this too is very important. To whom it will send? It needs to be sent to the department head. So where we have captured the department head. As of now, have you captured the department head? No, because we have just selected the department here, but department head value is not captured here. Okay, so how we can capture the department head? Just a minute. So what we need to do? So here we need to say get atom. What? See, now first thing you please try to understand. This is looping how many items means first I have selected consider SAP. Okay, so it take the SAP value, create the request with SAP and send the email to the that SAP. But who is the SAP manager? Who is the SAP department head? Sorry, not manager, SAP department head. Again we need to write down here something get. Okay, then it will get the okay. Next, who is the next person? Consider communication department. Okay, again who is the communication? Again it will loop and then goes to the communication. Again it will loop and that goes to the next selected department. Okay, means here at this stage, okay, there is a comment. This loop is executed based on the selected how many department you have selected. Okay, so up to this you understand it create department. Now here I'll say get. So what you want to get? I want to get the respective department manager. So get request get. Now here get atoms or atom. Now here atom, because I am getting the atom who is the SAP manager in single atom. My intention is a single atom. Okay, so I'll select the get atom. Again get not atoms. If I select atoms, again it will loop. Okay, so I'll select here get atom here and select atom here. Now here again I need to select my site here. My site is there. Now from which list? Now our list is IT department is our list name. Here is our IT department list. In that, so how we compare? So IT department name is equal to SAP, then give me the Raju Patil name. Okay, or if I have selected content management, give me event name. So I go here and see here. Now it's asking for ID. So you know the ID is associated with that. Okay, so I go here. So whatever how we select the ID now here. Now this is the selected item, or this is the IT department. Okay, this is the IT department from this is looping. Okay, in that loop, so which loop? IT department loop create an atom. So I say current atom. See here, current atom here. Okay, so I'm just a bit confusing here. Current atom, atoms, IT department create atom. No, I mean current atoms. Just select this current atom. Okay, so IT department here. Let's loop based on the IT department. Create loop IT department list item, and I just to test this what will be the show options. Okay, so just to because it's giving me the in IntelliSense, it automatically giving me the IT department. So here site manager item creation, IT department related nothing is there, so IT department loop create IT assessment list item. Okay, so just to test this what is the outcome here. Okay, again here send to and subject body, where is this issue? Okay, so I just get items, I ignore this. Okay, and not, or I select here get items, just meta, here I rename it, always keep habit to rename, create which items, IT assessment list items. Okay, and now here get what you are getting, IT, why it's not happening. Okay, so get IT DEPT manager, IT department IT DEPT manager email. Okay, so that we can send him the email. Okay, now here get IT department manager, so here it's showing me something, so to IT department head email. Okay, subject line I just put the some text subject line. Okay, required field I fill that, so that there's no issue. I'm just testing because I don't know what it will return here. Failed open API operation message input parameter ID. So here as I'm saying I don't know, so this action is throwing me error. If here we select the get atoms now, it will work perfect, but here I have used, again I will check here, in this current atom will not path ID. This is a wrong thing here, I passed the wrong details here. Okay, so here ID will required because I say get atoms, but in case see here, just delete this. The issue why happened, because I have selected the get atom, because here just a moment, we are looping it here with the IT department trigger. Just a minute guys, IT department value is value and IT department ID. Just a minute, sorry, I have removed it. So again I'll say get atom, just a bit confusing for me, just checking how I can take that item. So here list is IT assessment list, and here I put the okay approve comment. No, this is not get my not current atom. So which is this loop? IT department loop created. IT department create. Okay, here dot. I need to look in that. Just a minute. So there are many expressions. We'll check this expression also. Okay, here what I do, I'll take the get items action. No problem. Get items. Again it will loop. Why get items? Again it will loop because it return the collection. So I say ID assessment, and here we'll get the option to pass the filter parameter. So what is the filter parameter? Our IT department value is the filter parameter. So here how we apply the filter parameter? IT department name. So IT DEPT name. So my column name is IT DEPT name. So same filter we have applied here. Not here. Earlier I think we have applied some cases. So here I say IT DEPT. So here IT DEPT name EQ, okay, and the column. So which column we need to, so IT department name and equal to what is the field name. So the field is the IT department, which is a loop inside. So IT department approval comment loop, no. Here update, no. Join IT department. So here current item, just a minute. Get item ID assessment, and this is the create list item, and here IT department, sorry guys, so here IT department approve comment, then goes here, and here from this create item, the item which is create, okay, for that, okay, so I say create item, and from that I will just retrieve the, from that I'll just retrieve which value, the value is department name. So here in this list, what is the department name? IT department is the column name here. So create IT assessment, and here IT department this column. Okay, so I put it here. Just a minute, I'll tell you in more detail. So here what happened? Now here it will retrieve. Which, from which list? This is the IT assessment list. So I rename it. What we are retrieving? So it's saying get IT. What we are trying? IT department manager. Okay. So we are getting get IT DEPT manager email. It will loop. So see what happened. So create assessment. Sorry. Here I need to select. Guys, see what mistake I did here. Actually, here I need to select IT department here. Okay. Okay. So I have selected the IT department. Then IT department name equal to IT department. Okay. So IT department from this, so means what I'm telling you, just let me save this and check that. Okay, here there's no issue. So here what we are doing, here we are taking the create assessment list, means item created in this list. Okay, so what I'm saying, take this SAP or take this whatever the IT department after creating the item. So I just take the parameter from this list and I pass that parameter here, IT department. Okay, and I ask and I filter that IT department from IT department list. So I have IT department list. In that we need to extract the IT DEPT head. Okay, So here win IT DPT head. Sorry, I need to say head here. Okay, so get IT DPT head. Now we can use that get IT DPT head here in this list. Okay, so here get atom section we have used. That's why it will put this email in a loop. No, don't worry, because only one thing will be retrieved. Okay, so I say IT department. You know that IT department, which department? See, whenever the atom is created, that particular IT department will be selected. Next time communication will be created, communication will pass. Next time that atom branding will be created, then branding will be passed. Okay, so here we need to send the email to whom? IT department manager, regarding the uh, assessment. Okay, so I will just put here message send email to ITDPT head for IT assessment. Okay, means assessment means they will look into that and they provide their tentative efforts and tentative date. So here from which response means this above action, which action? Get IT department head email. So in that I say IT department head email is there. See here that column is there because we have created here people picker. See, this is the people picker, so that's why IT department head email is there. Okay, so see, as I'm saying, because I'm get atom section we have selected, that's why whenever I select this it loop that, because we have get atoms, it thinks that this is the collection, but we know that it will retrieve only one entry. So I just rename this here. I say ITDPT email loop. Okay, head email to avoid the confusion. Okay, so see, now we need to provide the some valid message here. So first thing we need to pass the work ID. So just a minute, work ID, many fields are there, don't get confused. Create assessment, no. So work ID is from created atom, from work ID or create update, no problem. Work ID, and you can see here request assigned to you for IT assessment. Okay, IT assessment, and here in bracket you can pass the IT department also, no problem. So how you can pass? You know the department. Here from here create items, here we have the IT department. So I just say DPT create item, get IT head email. So DPT create when item created, no, which action? No, this is not get items, get IT head email. Okay, so get IT head email is this loop. In that also there is a department name, ITDPT name. So it display IT assessment. Okay, so here you need to pass again few more details. Hi team, hi, or who is this? The manager. The IT department head email. From where we capture this IT department head? From this uh, get IT department head email. Get IT department head email request, and from that I say IT department head display name. So it will display his name also, and I say request assigned to you for IT assessment of DEPT. So the department. Okay, and say command here. Okay, so you can pass here work ID. So whatever the details you can pass, So I just select here work ID for free, or you can copy this work ID from here also, like this. You can select this. Oh, I'm not able to select it. Okay, you can copy it, no problem. Select it here. I select word ID from which list, created or updated. Okay, or you can pass the word details so that he will get more inputs on that. So work title, word details, work title is also important. So work title, and after that you need to pass the link. Okay, link to link for IT assessment, for IT. Okay, so what is the link? Link of the atom which is created here. Okay, the atom which is created here. Okay, so that link, so how we can pass the link, you just say link search. So link, there are multiple links are there, so no IT department head, no that. So this is not create IT assessment list atom, right? This atom link to atom. Okay, so that link, and also we need to pass, say here, this is system generated email, please don't reply. Okay, so you pass these details also here so that user will not reply. Okay, so this is a standard format. Okay, so here we have passed the link also. Now it's time to test our functionality. So what do we do here? Once the request is approved by site manager, then we approve comment loop here. Actually we send the requester email here. Okay, send email requester. Okay, and approve comment loop is loop because we have said use the approve comment. Then it say, then again we creating the multiple atom in the assessment list. We know how it was created, and here we are capturing the department IT head. Okay, and that value we are using here. Okay, so that value we are using here, IT department head email ID, and we send the email to all the department heads. Okay, for which purpose? The request came assigned to you for the tentative efforts, and those details will be filled by them. Okay, so again it's time to fill the request. Okay, so I earlier flow was not completed, that's why it's not. Let me refresh it just to check. Okay, so it was working. Also there are few things, let me clear. If you find any bug, immediately clear it, because otherwise it will remain as it is. Here in approval email I have entered this site. Actually there needs to be this site value. Okay, like this way you can select, say Control C, site for here. Like this you can paste. Okay, so I have put the site value. ID is perfect now. Here I think some of your ID is not was not appearing here, so I just pass ID here, work ID. So my work ID, I use this work ID. Okay, you can take ID from this action as well as this action, no problem. Okay, so here I have filled completed up to this. Now it's a time for testing. Now I'll go in list, say new. So I pass the details, paste the uh, email to Ippt head. Okay, what details? I'll not pass this. These details will populate once the department head will fill those. Will do that. So status, we have not still worked out on status. Okay, so select the site Pune and then department. So SAP is the Raju Patil only. Then I select branding. Then I select okay communication and branding. Okay, so I just save this. Now go here, test it. Okay, so we put the testing so that we trigger it from there and manually test it here, so that we understand that how our flow is executing. Uh, okay, so it's executed. See, up to site manager request pending. Who is site manager? Here is the site manager. So see, everything is clear now. Pending for Pune site manager approval. Okay, so link of the request is there. So I say approve. Please go ahead and submit. Again, once request submitted, check here how our flow will go ahead. See, condition input is equal to true. Error. See, IT department name equal to SAP. See the string. There is a string issue. IT department name is equal to SAP. There is some issue here. Get IT department head. Actually, I passed the details, but string issue is there. IT department name EQ SAP. So I think the expression is not valid. Create query here. So how we can fix this? Let me go here, edit, and just go here. I think, as per my understanding, issue with get here IT department IT DPT name. In spite of that, it's a title because internal name is title. I just save this. Okay, and again I will test it quickly from here. Automatically with last failed attempt. Okay, so we test it. We go here. Request ID 8 will again come here. ID 8. So ID 8 here. Let's see. Same request. So just a moment. For earlier request, we check these assessment items are created. You can see here. Assessment items 8 are created. I delete this because again it will create 8 items. 3 items again. So again email is there. So I'll go here and approve AP, only say AP and submit. So all the details are there. Now SAP. Again go here. Again check the condition. Oh, that's great. That's my computer too. See, I got the email. Then now it's getting here. See, functionality is executed perfectly fine. Okay, so it sent the email notification to 3 different stakeholders. Okay, so first thing is that I approve the request. See here, I approve the request here. Then after approval, this email goes to the approver. Yes, your request has been approved. Reason is approved, or you can say justification also there. So once approved, email goes to the requester. After that, here create assessment list items. So 3 times it loop and create 3 items. Okay, see here first item, here branding, previous item is communication. Okay, 3 items are created here in our IT assessment list. After that, next thing, what is the next thing here? Again I click here in that, again in that, after creating the item, I minimize this action, say get IT department name. So my department, so show first is the communication department. Okay, so first is the communication department, IT department, communication and output. So again I will say next. Again you can say department is equal to branding. Again I will say next, previous, sorry. One is first is the SAP. So SAP, what is the output from SAP? It will retrieve the admin because I am the, sorry, connection is the admin. Our output is the from SAP, output is the Raju Patil. Just see the Raju Patil. See, Raju Patil is the output from SAP. Okay, so here we got the Raju Patil and we use that Raju Patil and send the Raju Patil, see Raju, email to the Raju. If I go in the next, click here, then it send the email to the communication IT department head. See Rohan. See communication IT department head is Rohan. Okay, let's see Raju Patil, what email received to the Raju Patil. Request assigned to you, R needs to be capital. Okay, you for IT assessment, SAP. Request assigned to you for IT assessment, ID was not popular, we check that. Okay, the test the email to IT department head, and this is the link. So this is the link is here. So I just click, go to this link. So what it will open. So this is auto say this is my message, and this is the Outlook feature. It will automatically add. Please ignore that. So here I can see, and I say edit all. I go into the I have received the email, and it properly showing me the SAP request ID. And in that SAP, what I need to pass, I will pass the efforts, say 23 efforts, and when it will get completed, I put the date also here, and I say save. So as of now, we have not modified this request, these details in the Powerapps. So I have updated this IT assessment. Okay. So here again I will go back. So you understand that up to this our flow is completed. Okay. So I just go on edit. So up to this means at this stage means we reach at this stage. So we reach at this stage here. We send the email to all the respective department heads for to take action of assessment. Once they feel these department head feel their actions, then we consolidate their all the information. Now when did action, now the next part, now request is in IT assessment bucket. Okay, now your next flow will be on IT assessment. When all these three information capture, then request goes to the operational manager for approval. So up to this we stop here. In next session we see how we can consolidate all this information and to send it further, and then we need to update this information in our main list. Our main list name is work detail list. Okay, where the requester raised the request. This is the work detail list. This is our first list, second list, third list, fourth list, and fifth list. Okay, so once this details, and I say here assign here update work details. Okay, assigned to multiple IT department. Okay, work details, update work details list. Okay, I said it here, list with effort and tentative effort and tentative date. Okay, so I have, okay, so it will update this, and again it will pass those details to the operational manager. What is the total efforts and final date of work with tentative means, or you can see here tentative date. So actually I have given name something different in work details. These are implementation date, I think, like that. Here these are implementation date. Okay, so update the work detail list with efforts and desired date. Okay, total efforts and desired date. Okay, and it will goes to the operational manager. You know the operational manager, there is a separate list for operational manager, and then do it. So see, once they take the action, once these people take the action, flow directly come to this. Internally these things are happen. Okay, requester don't know what exactly happening. Okay, so we stop here and we'll see in the next session. Up to this you need to complete this, and also you need to work out on the data action. Okay, so data operations, what I'm saying, data operation. So here we have seen the email, it's a plain email, work detail and I, but you need to put table here. So what you need to do, you need to learn, you need to check what is the action, this action. So data operation, you need to complete this assignment plus, okay, data operation, and you need to check create HTML table, then filter arrays. Okay, so create HTML table, there will be the table which in email, work details, work ID, work title, all those details will be passed, okay, in an email. So I hope you understand that what exactly we need to do. Okay, in next session we'll see the next thing, which is the how we can consolidate all these details and update in a work detail list. Okay, so we stop here.